Terror, terror, terror. There's lots of terror about. Sky News. Threat of terror looms under Labor. The Australian. The People versus Tech Terror. Another one. Bombshell documents reveal Labor's terror backflip. Nothing worse than a backflip on terror, eh? All this terror being manufactured by the Terror Factory, by Rupert Murdoch's Terror Factory, has two ends. There's a commercial end and a political end. Terror is commercial because it scares people and induces them to click on your website or to buy your newspaper to scare you. It's political because it's designed to rubbish Labor and lift the coalition. They tried the boats terror, the armada of boat people coming to Australia's shores. Turned out to be a few fishermen from Indo. They tried the government, well actually the High Court releasing pedos into the community, the pedo terror. They tried the nuclear scare. The lights would go out, said the opposition energy minister, unless we went nuclear. But nuclear is drooping a bit because they haven't been able to find a credible expert yet to deliver some numbers to their nuclear story. And on the other side, of course, there are people who know what they are talking about, like CSIRO, like AEMO. So now we're back to the good old terror. It's an oldie but a goldie, and they're brushing up on both China terror and Islamic terror. It's always got to be certain people, certain races. The fact is that in Australia in recent months, the two actual incidents of terror, the Botany bomb threat and the Burger Tree firebombing in Melbourne, were not the right kinds of terror. So the mainstream media ignored it. Just not the right kinds of terror. They like their terror to be sourced from Muslims and Chinese. The irony of the rising China threat being espoused in the mainstream media is that it's happening right at the time that Beijing is signalling it might take wine tariffs off. Good job. It's good news, and it will bring billions of dollars to the Australian economy and help Australia's winemakers. We didn't get much of it in the corporate media overnight, but the number of journalists now murdered in Gaza is up to 134 journalists, which is more in 6 months than in the entire Second World War. The latest was a reporter covering the bombing of yet another hospital. We're in the era here of democratic authoritarianism, where governments are struggling to control the media and thanks to the internet. Hence the TikTok ban is afoot in the US, as millions of younger Americans are getting their news unfiltered from TikTok from each other. It's not the Chinese government news. A Chinese company may own it, but it's people filing on TikTok. Sure, there's a lot of disinformation. That's no different to any other social media platform. They're predatory, they're addictive, they're tax dodgers, sometimes pernicious, often privacy invading. Better ban. That's the point of the Murdoch jihad on China. They want to create fear about Chinese spies, like that ridiculous ASIO scare campaign, which all the papers splashed on a couple of weeks ago. There's a spy among us, apparently. They want to create this fear when the reality is that everybody spies on everybody. That's what submarines do 99.9% of the time. They spy. So the Terror Factory, Murdoch's Terror Factory, can get rid of its fastest growth competitor, TikTok. That's the point of this. They want it in somebody else's hands so that they can control it. The coalition's on board, led by the China-phobe Senator James Patterson. He's on Insiders on the ABC on Sunday. So it's all about self-interest, peddling fear for commercial outcomes, sowing division in the community, creating bogeymen and bogey women. There was even a scary piece about TikTok peddling vampires and meteors headed to Earth. News.com.au. The real danger to ordinary Australians lurks within, of course, as the two-party state with its media duopoly gears up to shove through its misinformation, disinformation laws to combat free speech. They both have to look tough on terror, and so we'll be hearing a lot more about China. It suits the narrative. Thanks for your support. Please like, share and comment below, and throw us a few bucks on Patreon if you can afford it.